Hello everyone. I'm FN. I make educational videos where I comment on sovereign citizens and frauditors videos. I try to bring my experience as a retired lawyer and adjunct professor to bear, and I critically analyze the actions of the aforementioned people. In order to be completely transparent, I am informing you that today's video is highly edited by me. Today's video is on SVG News, Pito Libre and another auditor that I don't recognize. He has a very pronounced speech impediment, so if you recognize his voice, please let me know in the comments. I selected the video because SVG News nearly gets hit with a bat, and I'm sad to admit that I enjoy the slapstick nature of it. With that introduction,
roll that beautiful beam footage.
This video was taken by the unknown auditor. I don't know if he's just starting out or what, but whatever camera equipment he is using is more of a potato camera than anything. The audio is atrocious and the video quality isn't much better. Maybe it is that he's just starting out on his auditing adventure and just can't afford better equipment.
Why are you recording us? What are you guys here for?
Problem. Explain problem, then I
Why does SVG News always use this offensive, fake Indian accent all the time? If you are a fan of Steve Martin movies like I am, then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Begging bowl. Yes, begging bowl. He's begging bowl.
I don't believe this is your property, ma'am. Well, this is your property up to 25 feet into the median line, but this is considered an easement. So yes.
Can someone send me the name of this auditor, please? He has a very distinct speech impediment, and really could have benefited from speech therapy as a child. I'm not the kind of person to normally mock a person with a disability, but I can't help but think out loud that he sounds a lot like a small child. I probably wouldn't be able to take anything he says very seriously. But he is technically correct. Where there is a city-owned sidewalk, there is an easement. As I have said, I am clipping large sections of superfluous content for the sake of brevity. However, I'll leave in enough for context.
This is just an educational video. We're not here for any harm.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I don't have to say it.
While the auditor is again technically correct, he is under no obligation to explain why he is walking on the public sidewalk, filming everything that he can view from that vantage point. It is common courtesy to answer questions about what he is doing when he's asked. It is that kind of polite respect that is the social lubricant that allows for a civilized society to exist. In this day and age of mass shootings and random acts of terrorism, it makes people nervous to see a couple of random dudes just wandering around filming a private business. Had the frauditors explained what they were doing there, a lot of police time and resources would not have been wasted. A lot of good can come from a little kindness and mutual respect. I don't want anyone to get me wrong. The frauditors have the absolute right to film in public. But at the same time, the subjects of their filming also have the right to inquire as to the who, what, and why about what they are being filmed for. It's that simple. Did you see how the woman's demeanor changed the instant the frauditor explained that it was for an educational video? As soon as the frauditor explained that they were not there for nefarious purposes, she instantly shifted from her defensive posture. This is probably some of the best evidence that I've seen to reinforce to me that frauditors are only after conflict and fights.
But I don't have to say it.
Motherfucker, yes.
He's the one cussing.
I have every right to freedom of expression.
I understand that, but what is that?
I don't know about anyone else, and there is nothing sexist intended here, but I don't think I'd want to have this pissed off lady yelling at me. She looks like she can handle herself in either a verbal or physical confrontation. But you also see that, while she had dropped her defensive posture with speech impediment boy, she was still defensive against SVG news. SVG continued to curse and be confrontational, thus forcing the woman to respond in kind. This is the proof that politeness works and that frauditors aren't defending anyone's freedoms. They are only out there hoping to instigate a quarrel, so that they can film it for clicks and views.
I had somebody to come here today to tell me do stuff. So I'm asking, thinking, guys are the guys. And then he got defensive with me. I didn't come out here fussing or anything like that.
Well,
Maybe you should talk to the partner. There's no reason.
well, I don't tell another grown man what to do.
I'm just saying. You want to fucking talk to me like that? That's not gonna happen, man.
Wow.
Hey,
you're not gonna run up your shit right here.
Bring up your head. Bring up your head. Bring up your head, bitch. Bring up your head. You went to jail for fighting.
Yeah, he made a big mistake. Dude, you made a big mistake doing that. You made a big mistake.
I do not advise anyone to respond with violence when facing an auditor. Calling the police would have been a better response here. Leave things to the cops to settle things out. The officers will not be able to force the auditors to leave, but they will occupy their attention and draw them away from filming this business. This generally will shift the frauditors' focus away from filming the business and onto filming the police, which is their ultimate goal in the first place. Auditors don't give a rat's ass about First Amendment freedoms. They want an actual physical confrontation with the police. That is why they are called frauditors in the first place. They use the lie that they are just exercising their constitutional right to film, as a cover. The goal isn't to film something as mundane as daily life. They just use that as a way to get to the real goal of spoiling for a fight. The more aggressive the response by the private citizen or the cops, the better for the auditors. They thrive on confrontation. Don't get me wrong. This response by the business's owner is gold for the auditors. But a fight with police is like diamonds and platinum. You see, frauditors almost always tend to be convicted felons, who possess zero job skills, have very little education, and little prospects for any significant employment beyond a minimum wage job, flipping burgers or manning a drive-through window. The only way that they have to make any real money is to be a frauditor on YouTube. A big way that they get the clicks and views necessary for monetization is to film the violent interactions, which they force, with police and public citizens. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. For most auditors, spending some time in jail or adding to their criminal records means very little. However, if they can get video of a citizen or a police officer responding in a violent or aggressive manner, then they can financially gain from their videos receiving a large number of views. This business owner fell for the trap that SVG News set for him. The best response when being faced with an auditor is to simply ignore them. If they even bother to post the video of whatever they film, and they likely will not, it won't be very exciting. It will not generate very many clicks or views. So just ignore them no matter how much they might try to goat you into fighting with them. Deny them their income, and they'll leave relatively quickly.
Dude, you're gonna go to jail now. You should have never stepped up like that. I was talking to whoever your representative is. We were having a cordial conversation. You come up, you don't know the story, you just come out doing that, take a swing. Bro, you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail today. That's the sad story. He's gonna... This is where I've been all day. That's where I've been all day. I never stepped on your property.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck him. Fuck him and fuck you. Fucking dirtbag. Fuck you.
Well, right now, we're gonna want you to get arrested for what you just did. What's that? Okay, tell him to hurry up, because I want to get something healthy to eat. What? You're telling me to come over there? You're trying to taunt me? Why would I come on your fucking property, dude? Why would you taunt me to come on your property holding a baseball bat? Because you want to take a swing at me. You know what? You know what? You're a disgrace, man. You're a disgrace. You're a punk. You're a punk. Remember that. When you put your head on the pillow tonight, man, remember you're a punk. Remember, you're a punk, man. When you go to bed tonight, you're a punk.
The real punks in this video are the auditors, but I agree that the business owner got punked. He fell for the goading by SVG News. I'm an old man now, but in my youth I was not the easygoing guy that I am today. I used to rather enjoy a good fight and never shied away from engaging in a little fisticuffs. I spent the better part of my adult life working in the criminal justice system. Having seen the consequences of spontaneous aggressive behaviors, I no longer have any desire to put myself in that kind of situation. Additionally, when I was younger, fights were settled with fists. Today, guns are used too often instead. These little maggots on society aren't worth fighting with.
Yeah, you're a punk. You're going to jail, fool. There's nothing to settle. He's going to jail, guaranteed. Yeah? You watch. You watch. You should have never done that. Yeah, okay, we're lucky. We'll see. You think this is our first rodeo?
Sadly, I know it's not their first rodeo. These auditors are skilled at forcing situations that result in violence. They successfully goateed this business owner. It's sad that there are scum in our society who feel that forcing innocent civilians into these kinds of negative situations, when all they wanted to do was go about their lives. These private citizens have jobs and are trying to run a legitimate business. But these frauditors, using the skills they have honed at sparking controversy, have now put this gentleman in a difficult position. To the frauditors, this is just a way to make a quick buck. But to that businessman, this is now much more serious. That's why I'm so critical about frauditors. Their somewhat sneaky idea to make a fast dollar has now put this innocent person into a difficult situation. The frauditors already ruined their own lives with their criminal pasts. Now they want to ruin other people's lives, all in the name of making a few dollars. It's sad and disgusting, and it's my duty to call it out when I see a wrong being committed.
Yeah, look forward to the bologna sandwich, man. Hey, it's telling you to go and get out of here. He's making you leave. Listen to your daddy.
At this point, if I were that guy with the bat, I would leave the situation and return to my office inside the building and await the arrival of the police. That's not legal advice. I'm simply stating what I would do, were I in the same position. But listen to these frauditors continue to try to escalate the hostilities. They are like little jackals, swarming around a wounded gazelle. It's sick and disgusting behavior. These are grown men, taunting an innocent guy who felt he was backed into a corner and had no choice but to be put into a defensive position. These frauditors make me sick.
Dude, taunting me to come over holding a bat, come over here. When you go to bed, remember how you fucked up today. Remember that. Yeah, remember that. Remember that. That guy's got a bag in there with a changing table, man. Why don't you sit on it so you can change your diaper? How's that? You got nothing better than that? It's none of your fucking business, man. Why is it your business what I'm doing on public? Why is it your business, man? Why is it your business what I'm doing in a public space? Why is that your business? Mind your own business and join the Mind My Own Business Club. You'll be better off in life. And don't come out and try to strike somebody in public with a baseball bat.
The irony is not lost on me that the auditor is the one complaining about someone inciting a person. That was their entire goal in the first place. It's the aggressor now trying to sound like a victim. Absent the frauditors being there, this guy would have gone about his business, and none of this would have occurred. And all of this was for what? To prove that they can film on a public sidewalk? It's ridiculous when frauditors try to say that somehow they are defending freedom, when in fact, their actions have now put this innocent gentleman in jeopardy of losing his. Frauditors are just that, frauds. If they can't see how much harm they do, then they are stupider than I already thought they were.
You're as stupid as a fucking turd ant. Yeah. Listen to your dad and go bye-bye.
Yeah, give her the back. Let me straight her out. Go ahead, give her the back. Give her the back. Don't get the fuck crying like a little bitch.
If you listen very closely, you'll hear that SVG News has forgotten to do his fake Indian accent. I've often read as the titles of his videos, how he hardly speaks English. Sounds like he speaks English pretty well in that clip.
Go ahead. Go ahead, move it out. Go ahead. You got the fucking fuck you.
Bye-bye.
Fucking babe. You're fucking babe. You're a babe. You're a fucking babe. Right out, babe. You're a babe. Get out of here. Fuck out of here, fucking babe. Fucking grandma.
Now that these innocent people have had their day, and possibly their lives turned upside down by these frauditors, there is nothing left to do but await the police and with it, the consequences of the position that the frauditors put them into. This has been a disruption to the daily operation of this business, thus harming it. It's also a potential disruption to the gentleman's life, if there should be a legal fallout from it. So when I hear frauditors ask, where is the victim? I say, it's right here. The victim is the guy they entrapped into this situation. But for the frauditors setting him up, this guy never would have committed the crime of assault. This is how frauding is harmful to society. It's not a crime to audit, but it's also not a victimless activity either. The frauditors knew they wanted to create a video of excitement. They got their footage, but at what cost?
That's all you got in the back, you fucking pussy? That's all you got? Is a green in the back?
This is some crazy shit, man. Guy taking a swing. You fucked up, dude. Don't worry, we don't need to call you.
What's your address? What's the address?
Yeah, you fucked up, dude. I'm not your buddy. Remember that. You're trash, man. I'm not your buddy. You're a piece of trash. Trying to hit my friend with a baseball bat while he's on a public sidewalk? You're trash, man. Can't talk to you to come on your property? You're trash, man. You're a disgrace as a human being. Remember that. Remember that, man. You're trash. Karma's a bitch in life, man. $68.50. Herrera's Meat Company.
I talked to the gentleman, I guess we got into a little bit of exchange of words, stuff was said, so I explained to him, you guys can get on the sidewalk recording, it's all within your right, obviously don't trespass into their business unless you're a customer, and it's fine. He was stating that, I guess when he exited his car, he felt that he was going to be attacked by someone because the camera was right in his face. So he reacted accordingly, and he was in fear for his life. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. After the gentleman talking to your side, his side, so it's just obviously you guys are doing your thing, and he didn't know how to react to it because he saw two strangers coming up.
No, he's talking about a separate dude. He's talking about the first person.
Yeah. So, and then, so I guess the other guy, he came out because he didn't know what was going on. He thought his employee was being attacked. So then they came out and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I guess insults were made. and things were said, harsh words were said, and everybody was heated. So
That's not how it
it's
happened.
one of those things where like they got scared because they don't know who you are, and obviously you don't know who they are, so everybody was kind of afraid. So it's just like I explained to them, that's their business. If they're in there and they want to refuse service to or whatever thing, that's fine. You can't go in there. That's their business.
Go through the charges, bro. It's bullshit.
Just be on the sidewalk and just be respectful to
No.
people, and people be respectful to you.
File.
And that's about it.
Alright?
I did. It wasn't a crime. I talked to him.
I got it on video. Okay, you're Deputy Herrera. What's your badge? 855. You're a disgrace. Rosario badge number 1972. Your partner's a disgrace. No, we're on a sidewalk the whole time. He's 40 feet away. He's 40 feet away. Over there, we're on a sidewalk. He was never in fear of his life. You're trash, man. You know what? You're the type of cop that get all the good ones shot, dude. You're a bad cop. You're a disgrace, man. You're dirt, man. You're dirt, Herrera. You get all the good cops killed because of your actions. You're trash, man. You're trash. Dereliction of duty, Herrera. You were unwilling to look at the evidence on my video camera before, and not even now. You're trash, man. You're trash. Remember that, Herrera. You're a piece of yes. Eat that, man. Eat that, piece of shit. You get good cops killed because you're a piece of trash. You're a piece of trash, you fucking oath breaker. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, Herrera. Fuck yourself. Let's get a supervisor out here, man.
The original video did not include the first interaction that the auditors had with police, but you can infer that it wasn't a good one. Clearly, the police officers felt that the business owner was credible enough when he said he felt in fear. I'm not going to judge one way or the other on that. I am glad that the businessman won't be facing any criminal charges for his actions. I don't condone him taking a swing at SVG, and I certainly hope that he'll learn from this and make different choices in the future. But at the same time, I completely understand why he reacted the way he did. Auditing is a completely legal activity, but it's being done in a harmful manner by some frauditors, and they need to recognize that. It's not all about making a dollar when they're screwing with innocent people's lives. As a thought exercise, let's play this same scenario with one change. Let's say the bat connected with SVG's skull and killed him. The businessman is then convicted for killing SVG. He goes to the penitentiary. Now, because he isn't there to run the day-to-day operations, the business fails and closes. All of the employees lose their jobs. Dozens of people are suddenly affected. Would the frauditor still be asking the lame questions of, where is the victim? Who is being harmed? Just as there could have been unintended consequences for the man swinging the bat, there can be some unintended consequences for conducting a useless and pointless audit. I know that I'm mostly preaching to people who agree with me, but if just one frauditor stops because they see the damage they are doing, it'll be worth it. Finally, I am still seeking donations for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. You'd be donating directly to the hospital, and I will never touch the funds. I've included a link in the description. As always, thanks for watching.